Good afternoon, participants. Today's session, as mentioned by Professor Meenakshi, will be on Bloom taxonomy. Hello. Bloom taxonomy. Now, using Bloom taxonomy, why we need Bloom taxonomy as a part of outcome-based education framework. Now, the point is, see, the basic philosophy of outcome-based education is the holistic development of the student. When we say holistic development, we refer to his intellectual development, mental development, and physical development. Now, we say these things, but how do we make that as part of our teaching learning process? How do we make that as part of our curriculum? So this is what we will discuss today, and then see how these learning outcomes that we decide our self-intended learning outcome help us to design the curriculum for this. So today's session, the takeaway will be, you may be familiar with some of these concepts, very good. I would like you to ask the question why it should be so. Why is important? Because I will explain it how everything follows from nature's creation of human mind and human brain. So which has been expressed in the form of Bloom taxonomy. So different learning domains, how the student learn, how we learn, what are the higher level thinking skills. These are very important because the basic aim of widespread application and adoption of outcome-based education system is that it gives us a roadmap how to enhance thinking skills of the students. Then how to write the course and program outcomes. I will show you. They are very easy, but there is a algorithm. There is a procedure, and then the significance of learning outcomes for the students, for the and management.
I would request Dr. Gokul to please mute yourself.
No, this is because Bloom taxonomy is the foundation of outcome-based education, which mandates specification and assessment intended student learning outcomes. We have seen what student learning outcomes are. Now, please appreciate, I want to, because my experience of visiting a large number of institutions has been that we mix up outcome and output. Now, learning outcome, when I say, this involves 4-5 components. Keep this in mind. When I say I want to look at the outcome, educational outcome, this signifies the knowledge component, the skill component, attitude and value. Please, very important, value system. There is a lot of emphasis on value-based education. I will demonstrate to you that this is already a part of outcome-based education, and Bloom taxonomy provides a guideline for this. Then behavior of the learners, societal concerns of the learner, motoring and manual skills. So when I will say the educational outcome of the student, we mean these components. So from where these components come from, number one, and how do we incorporate them into our teaching learning and curriculum design process. This is because when Bloom studied the learning of the human being, he was an education psychologist. He came to the conclusion that the learning domains will be of three component: cognitive domain, that is the mental skills, brain; psychomotor domain, that is the doing with the hands, physical skill; and affective domain, that is knowing about the feelings, about the emotions, feeling, heart, growth in feelings or emotion areas. Now, these are the three domains that he divided human learning. Then further, the cognitive domain has 6 levels. Psychomotor domain has 5 levels, and psychomotor affective domain has 5 levels. The advantage of dividing domains into levels is that we can focus on these. Let me give you a quick view. If you are familiar with this, good. But otherwise, I'll give you a quick view of Bloom's domain levels. For example, cognitive domain, it has 6: remember, and they are categorized as remember, recognizing and recalling facts. That means, let us say, as children, they recite poems. Understanding, understand what it is, what it is not. Apply, be able to apply what we have learned as remember and understanding. Now, these are what we also call them as lower order thinking skills, lots. Then going up, analyze, evaluate, and create. Now, evaluate is analyzes, dividing the facts, taking the facts, and then breaking in small parts, understanding them, and then coming to a inference. Evaluate is when we are taking some data, the data, interpretation of data, judging the information component of the data, and create is combining parts to make a new thing. And these three are referred to skills correspond. These levels are referred to as higher order thinking skills. The learning becomes more and more difficult. Expression becomes more and more difficult as we go along. Remember to create. Please, I will be referring to these as Bloom levels, and then I'll try to demonstrate how these levels contribute to the design of curriculum wherein higher level thinking skills are emphasized. The goal of in taking all this is being able to appreciate how to develop thinking skills of the students. Then higher thinking skills and outcome-based education. See, outcome-based education has become very popular. Not only it's a student-centric, but it also emphasizes how to develop, how to embed, how to foster higher thinking skills in the students. So higher order thinking skills are what we are aiming to develop and enhance among the learners. Outcome-based education is a teaching learning pedagogy which enables to embed teaching assessment improvements of higher order thinking in the curriculum. See, once if I know what I want to achieve, then I can focus on the methodology of achieving that. For example, if I want my students to be critical thinkers, if I want my students to be problem solvers, then I can put my emphasis on those aspects. So OBE is an excellent approach to single out where to emphasize, how to design the various components to enable the student to develop their higher thinking skills. So outcome part requires a student learning outcomes, that is knowledge, attitude, behavior, are be predefined as we saw yesterday, and their achievement by student be demonstrated. So one of the main goal is to enhance higher thinking skills of the students, and they will be, incorporated into curriculum. I'll demonstrate that. So now just quick, in junior classes, most learning occurs at lower levels. that is knowledge, understanding, and application. There, for example, one may be expected to learn the names of properties of chemical elements. This is a knowledge. Understand why some elements react with others. That means I can do it only if I have gained the knowledge of this. I can understand. Then be able to do a criteria experiment, that is application. This is what we do normally in the lower classes. Maybe depending upon the primary or secondary or class. But when it comes to the higher education, things start changing. See, at the elementary level, at these levels, memory and comprehension of students are important. That's why textbooks and study guides present knowledge and knowledge as absolute and unchanging. We only gain knowledge. This trend continues in higher classes, should it or not? Now, I want to appreciate a few things that this trend has been in our education system continuing till our BTech, MTech, even PhDs. That's where we are lacking behind. So, which needs to be changed. This means as we go along in the higher classes, maybe let us say we go to the college, we go to the university, we do PhD or MTech or MSc, then our emphasis should start changing. Emphasis should start shifting to the higher levels. We need to be changed. We need to create knowledge, make our students skillful and innovative. So focus is on the upper three levels. So Bloom taxonomy, we see so far our education system, our students are good, our teachers are fantastic, very bright. But our education system is such that emphasis on the three levels. It's a textbook-oriented teaching with the result that teachers are not either they don't get a time or they are not prompted to teach students which correspond to the higher levels. So when I adopt outcome-based education framework, then this becomes mandatory that we start using it the way we like it. How do we do this thing? So corresponding to each of these six levels, Bloom has specified. In fact, we can also, if we think slightly deeply, we can also infer the same thing. What does creativity involves? What does analysis involves? Analysis involves understanding, analysis involves putting things into different parts. So Bloom took as it is research that he indicated these are some of the verbs which give us this indication as to correspond to which level we are. So he provides the sets of measurable verbs to describe and classify observable knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior. So we indicate explicitly what a student must do in order to demonstrate learning. See, when I am using the process of and specifying using certain identifiable, measurable verbs, then it becomes a hint as to what is to be done. See, measurable verbs are used to create learning outcomes. As I demonstrate a little later, these verbs constitute the preparation of learning outcomes. Now, here is just you can look into the internet. Here is a collection of the verbs which are there correspond to each of these six levels. There are a set of verbs. There may be certain overlap, also slight overlap. Remember, understand, apply. Like say in apply, use the verb act, administer, or dematize, employ, operate. Now please see here. If I say operate and I use the word described, they have a different connotation. These connotations are being classified corresponding to various levels. Now, if I look at the create, I will use the verb design. I will use the verb formulate. I will use the word substitute. But if I use the word substitute under the level understand, there's a mismatch. So he analyzed all these things, and if I use these verbs, then these verbs send a signal that we are corresponding to which level. Now, if I want to have higher levels, that higher order thinking skills, analyze, evaluate, and create, use the verbs corresponding to these. All these verbs are available on the in the internet. You can find that. Here are certain examples. They are quick examples. I know that it may be elementary for some of you, but I want to focus your attention on these because later on, when I demonstrate to you how what is the connection between learning outcome at the level of course and learning outcome of the program, how they are connected, how I will show you a beautiful connection between them. Now, see here, when I'm emphasizing the remember and knowledge, then I use the word recall, describe, identify, say, list the criteria to be taken into account when caring for a patient with tuberculosis. These are very simple ones. Now, when what do we expect? Supposing if we are emphasizing at the level knowledge and remember, so student, what do you expect from a student be able to do at the knowledge and remember level? Please see, this is important. I successfully solved textbook problem using appropriate techniques and procedures. Now, see here, student, when he solved the problem of textbook, he has learned already from the chapter, taken hint from the chapter, understood those chapter, and then is able to solve the problems. So, depending upon what we give to the students, we are able to imbibe that type of learning in the student. Now, say another example is we say interpret, or student should be able to interpret things. He should be able to summarize things. He should be he said interpret or summarize communications, oral, written, graphical. Can use the problem solution to determine effects, trends, and implication. Now, kindly see that this is what I am expecting from a student if my his learning is at the lower level. Now, in understanding, I use the word convert. I use the word convert number systems from hexadecimal to binary and vice versa. Now, please see here, student can convert only when he has understood what is a hexadecimal system, what is a binary system. So his understanding is being assessed here. He is being made to understand things, like say predict the effect of climate warming on weather. That means students should understand what is the climate. Students should be able to see the relationship with the weather and then use his understanding to interpret this or predict this. That means whatever he has learned at the lower level, he is using here to explain things or maybe identify things. Then what do you expect from the student to be able at the understanding level? Solve textbook problems using appropriate techniques and procedures. Translate ideas into my own words, into one's own words, or interpret like this. That means with this we are able to find out what do we expect from the student when he has already done something at the lower and understood at the lower level. Then application level, I can design the example as modify guidelines in a case study of a small manufacturing firm to enable tighter quality control, which means whatever he has learned at the lower level, now he is applying that knowledge to carry out various activities, action. For example, construct a timeline significant events in the history of East India Company in the 19th century. That means he can design, he can prepare a timeline, what he learned at the lower and the higher at the level and then apply it. So this is important to appreciate that when we are doing this thing, whatever student learn at the lower level is able to apply that. So what do you expect from a student to be able to at the application level? Apply ideas. So it should be at the capacity or apply ideas, concepts, principles, general solution, solve problems in which method is not immediately evident or obvious. For example, you remember sometime students are able to solve problem by looking at the examples. Now, if his problem is not solvable by looking at the examples, then he should be able to apply what he has learned and then come out with a solution. So that means application level, when is being emphasized, student develop the competence of applying the things. Now, then comes analysis level. Analysis level, I can write down analysis level, calculate logical functions for coders, compare. Now, these are all Bloom works. Now, debate the economic environments. Let me calculate gradients from maps. So these are the statements which are indicating that student has to be aware of the analysis part of his learning. So this he is able to, this we are, when I write a problem, analyze the performance of students in the previous 3 internal tests. This indicates student has to take the results from the previous test, understand their behavior, maybe trend, maybe their occurrence and not occurrence. So the issue of understanding analytical capability, be able to develop the analytical competence in the student. Student need to be trained in interpreting things, in taking data, in finding out what is right, what is not right. So that's where the analytical component gets emphasized. Then what we expect from a student to be able to at the analysis level, can analyze results by breaking ideas, concept and principle, theories, maybe general solutions. But look here, now the learning of the student is rising. So understanding, now he is able to use what he learned as what he understood to analyze things. So explain the logical interconnection between various parts. See, if there are many parts in an application or in some data, he is able to analyze that, can develop detailed cause and effect sequences. Similarly, evaluation level. How do I indicate evaluation level? Using a Bloom words again. Assess, evaluate. These are all illustrations, please. Apprise, for example, predict the effect of change in temperature on the position of equilibrium, or assess the importance of key factors in bringing about change in electronics industry. Now, see, when I use the word assess, it immediately says you look all the data which has been collected, then start evaluate, judging them, drawing inferences, which means the emphasis on this level enable the student to be able to judge things, what is right, what is not right, what is relevant, and so on. Similarly, appraise the role of sport and physical education. In these are the examples of indicating what is necessary for the student to be able to demonstrate, that meet evaluation capabilities. Then comes, what do you expect for a student be able to do at this level? He should be able, now please here, when I say course outcome, a program outcome, we are looking at the ability of the student. And now this ability is connected from here. At this level, make value judgment based on certain criteria. Student should be able to do that. Usefulness, effectiveness. Then he should be able to see which for a particular activity, which process is more important, why it's relevant. For example, let me give you an example. We have sorting techniques in computers, algorithm of Nelson, in the paper on algorithms, we have sorting techniques. Which one is better? Why it's better? Why others are not doing particularly these things? That means he should be able to evaluate these things. Then evaluate, maybe there are maybe various plans for a particular activity. He should be able to uh, compare them, judge them, and so on. So please see here the student understanding, student competency goes on increasing as we are giving him the assignments, as we are giving him the work corresponding to higher levels. Then creativity. Now in creativity is very important, especially when students are, let us say, in example, BTech, third year, fourth year, or MTech. See, they need to we need to imbibe these skills in them, creativity skills. And also when we say critical thinking skill, what does it mean? So when I say creativity skill, it means student creates new ideas and information using what previously he has learned. That means at the lower levels. Which means as he go up, he has learned something, how to evaluate things. He has learned about how to analyze things, draw inferences. Then doing using all this information and ideas, he is able to design new things. Kindly see this thing, very important. That means students should be able to come up with something which is new or different or modified. This way, it could be making certain new thing. It would be new planning. It would be using new methods. It would be modifying methods and devise or inventing methods. Now, kindly see that we lack very badly in the fourth, in the fifth and sixth levels, especially sixth level creativity. Our students, we are not able to ignite the creativity skill of the student or build these attributes in the student. Why we are not? Because we are not emphasizing the assignments, we are not emphasizing the component which generates the thinking capability of creating new things. And that's why this is also characterized as critical thinking skill or the highest thinking skill in the context of Bloom taxonomy. Now, here we are concerned with designing things. So design an interactive program to print all the prime numbers occurring between 0 and 100. Now, for example, to the computer science teachers, this may appear simple, but look at the essence of this design. That means he has to produce certain a product, a program, which does certain things, which could be different. Similarly, you can take example in from the civil engineering or mechanical engineering, indicating that student has to use his mind and what he has learned to create something new. What do you expect from the student be able to do at the creating level? Generate ideas and use them to create physical object, a process, a design method, or even an essay, a new essay, creative essay, or even a set of mathematical models, abstractions. The reason I'm giving you this thing, creativity is a very general thing whereby student or an individual can think of newer things, different things, modified things, which creates value. So produce written oral reports. Now, for example, many of the people are not able to write their reports. Now, let me share with you, many of the faculty members are not able to write their effective resume, which creates impact. See, काम तो चलते रहते हैं, लेकिन एक काम जो बढ़िया तरीके से हो, जिससे सारे के सारा जो पर्पज है इजीली अचीव हो जाए, वो रिक्वायर्ड है. उसके लिए हमें थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट तरीके से सोचना, जैसे कहते हैं ना आउट ऑफ बॉक्स सोचना. अब रिज्यूमे भी लोग लिखने में ऐसे लिखते हैं, मान लीजिए डेट डेट डालते ही नहीं है. आप कहेंगे यार इसमें क्रिएटिविटी कहाँ से आ गई? क्रिएटिविटी है कि आप कैसे प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो डिफरेंट फैक्ट्स को मिला के, एंड सो ऑन. है ना? When I'm having these things, remembering these cognitive levels, 6 levels, now teaching strategies are also should be kept in mind. What are teaching strategies? See, remembering the teaching lecture, audio-visual, demonstration, making observation, question answer, it helps the student to develop his remembering capability skill, remembering skills. It can be enhanced. Now, understanding and applying discussions, this is what we do. We have been doing it, but we have not been able to use the techniques of enhancing them. See, purpose of education is to develop and enhance the capabilities of the student which nature has given it. Example, every human beings are same. Their mental to start with everyone is same. They start increasing as they grow, as they come across. Some of them are sharp, some of them need to be sharp. Outcome-based education says all it is your responsibility to make a student learn. It's your responsibility to see that a student does not fail. Please see it, because why should he not fail? Because he has nature has given him all those capabilities, competencies. If developing those competencies is the responsibility of the institution. For example, when in the lab, students get many observations. Then in the lab, self-study, what to be studied, what not to study, learning through mistakes, appraisals. Now, please see here, one of the very important learning that I want to emphasize is learning from mistakes. All the entrepreneurs are examples who have learned from mistake. Making mistake is not bad. Learning from mistake, not learning from mistake is bad. See, our teacher used to say, you make any mistake in the lab, I don't mind. You break any component, I don't mind. But you convince me what you have learned from that mistake. So, and that's where we start evaluating it. That's where we start comparing things. That's where we start interpreting in a different way. So, creating real life situations, on job training involving activity, process based learning, complex problem solving, they contribute to enhance creativity skill or build creativity skill. Plus, see here. Now, as it's so, Bloom taxonomy gives us various guidelines, and also suggests the teaching strategies which will bring out the corresponding learning of the student. Then they see what we discussed was digital taxonomy works. Nowadays, even they see a lot of creative work is being done on the internet, in the internet space, cyberspace. So here also the same levels can be applied, and there are verbs available. So if you are having a discussions about assessment about the internet, then you can use these verbs. Now, this is very important. See, Bloom has done a one very good thing by drawing inferences from what nature has given us. Every human brain left has a left brain functions and right brain function. Left brain function the right side body control, number skills, scientific skills, analytics, and so on, logic and reasoning. This is a scientific proven fact by neuroscience studies. And right brain is emotions, imagination, intuition, creativity, and so on. Please see here, I'm repeating, nature has given us the attributes which are intellectual oriented, cognitive oriented, and nature has given us attributes which are emotion, values, they are affective. And nature has given us physical body, that is psychomotor. So when Bloom has done it, he has categorized what nature has given us into three components: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Please appreciate this thing, because I'm going to use this and you will remember it all along, because this is the basis of outcome-based education is Bloom taxonomy, and Bloom taxonomy derives its origin from nature. Now look at the affective domain. Now, affective domain involves our feelings, emotions, and attitudes. This is the second domain of Bloom taxonomy. This domain includes the manner in which we deal with things emotionally, such as feelings, values, appreciation. No, कैसे कहें, टीम वर्किंग में अगर हम एक दूसरे को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करेंगे, एक दूसरे को अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करेंगे, हाउ कैन बी ए गुड टीम प्लेयर? फ्रॉम वेयर डज, हाउ विल आई मेक माई टीम student a good team player? Now he may be having he has certain natural, he has some natural qualities, but the purpose of education is to enhance it. The purpose of education is to develop it further, and so on. So it has 5 levels, which are also indicated with the appropriate verb. So if I have to indicate the affective domain, then I look at the 5 levels. And affective domain concerns human values, emotions, feelings, attitude, and behavior. Now, please see that in learning outcome, when I mentioned learning outcome, attitude and behavior was also a component of outcome. And these are nothing but they are the issues covered in the affective domain. So affective domain, so when I say learning outcome first is knowledge and skill, which is cognitive domain. Then is attitude and behavior, which is affective domain. It involves human value system, which include the manner we behave, deal with other human beings, things emotionally, via feelings, appreciation, gratitude, and so on. See, if a student has done well, you appreciate him, he feels motivated. This is a part of affective domain. An affective domain talks about ways in which students respond to internal and external phenomenon emotionally. It includes information about their values, things that spark enthusiasm, as well as aspects that motivate them. So, affective domain helps us to imbibe human values in the students. See, when we say value based system, value based education, now, value-based education signifies that the human values are given a lot of importance as regards student understanding, as regard developing it, enhancing it, right? But see here, it's a part of OBE. Now, in the outcome-based, in the NEP policy 2020, human values is given importance, and I will show you I can design my learning outcomes corresponding using affective domain verbs wherein these values get indicated. So human values refer to the beliefs, concerns, disposition, and norms which a person has. Example of gratitude, honesty, ethics, then hatred. They are abstract but subjective, but they are important to be successful. Respecting human values, imbibing human values, demonstrating human values is extremely important, and that's a part of outcome-based education through Bloom taxonomy. So similarly, the affective domain has levels, which is receiving, a character is receiving, which is willing to be aware of a situation, that means हाँ में हाँ मिलाना, लर्न करने में तैयार हो जाना, रिस्पॉन्ड करना मीन लर्न करना, बात को मानना, valuing mean giving importance, organizing mean are putting thing values in systematic way so one can learn it. I'll just briefly mention this so that you are able to appreciate when designing the learning outcomes how these can be emphasized. So when we say characterizing, that means he has learned so much about ethics, he has learned so much about caring attitude, he has learned about many complex situations, in the interpersonal behavior, personal behavior, and he practices that. देखिए, पहले तो उसने पहचाना, फिर उन्होंने उसको इम्बाइब किया, फिर उसने उसको समझा, और फिर उसने उसको लाइफ में यूज करना शुरू कर दिया. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि वो दैट ही इज अ वेरी वेल बिहेव्ड स्टूडेंट. He is a well behaved student not because he was born like that. He learned that. Earlier, he was learning from the environment, from the parents, from other things. But outcome based education says if he has learned it's good, you enhance it. If he has not learned it, make him to learn. That means that like being a good, let us say we are having a project, we are having a team. He is not cooperating. Now he is partly cooperating or he is cheating. How do we make the student to realize what is right, what is not right? This is covered in the affective domain. Similarly, for each of the domain, affective domain level, there are verbs. You can, I will just give you an idea and go along. And these verbs can be used to design the learning outcome statement as we did earlier. So then, for example, what is the relevance of affective domain in education? The relevance is affective, objective, emphasize feelings, emotions, and the degree of acceptance or rejection of a given phenomenon. See, many times students say कि ये मेरे को पसंद नहीं है, मैं नहीं करता, I don't want to go there, without realizing that. See, he may be wrong. Teacher knows it more than that way. So, what is the relevance of affective domain education? These objectives occupy limited space in more traditional sets of circular curricular objectives. Our curriculum do not emphasize as much the affective domain as it does the cognitive domain. So these things need to be emphasized. Then psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain is concerned with the physical activities of our human being. Say doctors, they check patients, how they take readings. Then in the lab, students do work, look at the players. Now, psychomotor domain also has 5 levels: imitation, manipulation, precision, how precisely we are using the equipment. See, many people, students, many times are not able to remove the parallax. Some student can do it easily. So, which means the student who is not able to remove the parallax easily, he need to learn those skills. He need to imbibe that skill whereby he learns it. So that's what comes in the psychomotor domain. I'll again, just touch it. Psychomotor domain includes physical movement, coordination, and use of muscles. Example, psychomotor domain, there are issues where student has to very precision, flexibility, speed. कुछ कुछ equipment ऐसे आती है, we needs handling, endurance, and so on. So these aspects of human skills are covered under psychomotor domain. Then psychomotor learning domains, similarly, there are words for this. I'll just indicate on the same line. Now, they are important in the laboratory. All professional courses, they have laboratory. Even otherwise, even computer lab is there in every course, maybe management, maybe law. How to handle the equipment, computer equipment, maybe mouse, maybe the pen, and so on. So laboratory skills operate the range of instrumentation specified in the course module safely and efficiently. In the example, chemistry, you know that, perform titrations, construct simple scientific sketches. Now here, प्लीज स्टूडेंट आप कहते हैं हम तो सिखाते नहीं, सीखे सिखाए आते हैं. वो सर सीखे सिखाए जरूर आते हैं, लेकिन उसको एनहेंस कैसे करना है, उसको एक्यूरेटली कैसे करना है. Equipment is getting more and more sophisticated. Use is also doing. So these 3 domains, affective, psychomotor, and cognitive, these are the domains which need to be considered depending on what is our discipline. If it is a medical discipline, then affective becomes more important. If it is if it is a, let's say, sports discipline, psychomotor becomes very important, and so on. So there is no unique formula. It's all a understanding of these concepts. It's all a more and more practice. The reason I have mentioned this thing, this will help you to appropriately embed the design the learning outcome of student depending upon which course it is. Supposing you have BSc in sports science, where there is a lot of playing. You have MBBS in medical, where there is a lot of affective, where there is a lot of human feelings are involved, and so on. So this is just summary of that. Now see here, cognitive domain covers knowledge, intellectual skill, which is the brain development, affective, attitude, interest, feeling, which is again mind, psychomotor, motor and management skills, body. Goal of outcome-based education is the holistic development that is brain, mind, and body of student. Applicable Bloom taxonomy guides how to achieve this thing. So now, dominance in various disciplines. See, cognitive, affective, psycho domains are relevant to all our learnings, but the relevance role in some discipline may be more than the other. Remember, outcome is, मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ, outcome is knowledge, cognitive knowledge and skill, cognitive. Outcome is attitude and behavior, affective. Knowledge is, we have, third is psychomotor, that is bodily or physical manipulation. So we say affective domain is one of the central areas in the assessment of the learning outcome medical student, apart from the cognitive and psychomotor domains. Now, designing course and program learning outcomes via Bloom taxonomy. That's after, if I'm sure you must be able to appreciate now how the human brain has been expressed in the form of three Bloom domains, each domain having different levels. Level is increasing complexity, like say creativity, increasing complexity. Each level has corresponding verbs. Now, those verbs are used to write down the course and program outcomes, and the level of the complexity of the programs of the outcome will be indicated by the use of the verbs that we take from the Bloom tables. Now, any question here, please? Meenakshi ji? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any clarification or questions here?
Yeah, participants, any questions?
Participants, I'm trying to help you to catch the fish. I will not give you a fish.
Yes, sir.
You will be able to, I can assure you, by the end of this session, you will be able to write the learning outcome. This is because what is the basis of all this gets clarified, then we can do all this.
Yeah, otherwise, sir, there is a writing the course outcomes. What I have generally noticed is that the faculty members are just looking into the units in which this syllabus is divided, and depending on those units, they are writing the course outcome. That okay, first unit is a introduction or fundamental of electromagnetism. Then they will write that the student will be able to understand or will be able to comprehend the basics of applied physics. So actually, this should not be done. This should not be done. That unit wise it should be not be written. The course outcome should always be written by dividing into the three domains which sir has talked about.
Now that's where, Professor Meenakshi, the deeper understanding is required.
Yeah.
Which subject is helping the student to imbibe thinking skills at the higher level?
Yes, sir.
Example, if it's a first year or it's a fourth year or third year, which gets emphasized, and here we as faculty member need to appreciate the significance of the various learning outcome that we design.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah, actually, those are like learning outcomes are basically the metrics which will decide or define that what the student has achieved after.
हाँ, क्या learn किया उसने?
Yeah.
So
What
I'm going to now show that how we can write them. how we can embed. So if I want my student to be a creative develop, if I want my student, my creative skill to be developed, then what kind of learning outcome should I design? If I want my student to be a good team player, or he should develop the habit of, let's say, he should be develop the habit of respecting others, what kind of learning outcome should I design? Your learning outcome also sends a signal to the students भी
Yes.
आपसे ये एक्सपेक्टेड भी है, आपको ये डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करना है.
And yes, sir, one thing I want to make it more clear to the faculty members that these learning outcomes not only should be constrained with the in the your file of the faculty. In the very first lecture, when you are telling the students about the course curriculum or about the reference books or assessment, these learning outcomes should also be shown to the students. So the students in the very beginning only, they have the very clear cut idea that after learning this, after undergoing this course or covering this course, what is expected out of me, what
Correct,
type of knowledge, what type of skill I have to attain. So they should be disseminated to the students at the very beginning.
correct, very right.
Yeah. Otherwise, teachers think usually the trend is okay, we will write the learning outcomes and they become just the part of the file of the teacher, the course file or whatsoever file the faculty is maintaining. They remain there, and when they do the attainment part, whether the course outcomes are attained or not, then the students do not have any idea. Or when we write the question paper, along with every question also, when you do the assessment, along with the question where you write the marks on the right hand corner, you should also mention the course outcome or the learning outcome with which the question is attached.
So
Like
now,
question number one, if you're writing question number one and marks 3 marks, then whether that question is going to check which outcome, CO1 or yeah, LO1, whatever acronym you are giving. So CO1 or CO2. So that student also knows, okay, this question is going to judge my knowledge or my attitude or my cognitive capability or my affirmative capability based on this question. So try to form the question paper also like this and give these course outcomes and explain these course outcomes to the students in the very first class.
when we go for NBA accreditation,
Yeah.
we try to find out from the faculty कि
Hmm.
ये जो इसने लिखा है ये उसको पता है कि नहीं.
Anji sir,
हाँ.
I know. And most of the time they don't know.
Now you see, when I design, so I design it. What is the purpose of this? ये कल मैंने आपको स्लाइड दिखाई थी. I want to see the competencies of his life skill of the student. किस तरह का स्टूडेंट मोटिवेटेड होना चाहिए, ग्लोबली अवेयर होना चाहिए, डिजिटल लिटरेट होना चाहिए, ये मैंने आपकी स्लाइड में लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में कॉपी किया हुआ है. अगर आप देखेंगे कि इन्हीं को हम एक्सप्रेस करेंगे एज ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट, दिस आई टॉक्ड यस्टरडे, दैट मीन द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग आर एक्सप्रेस्ड and then they are encapsulated as graduate attributes, which will look like. See, if I now the graduate attributes serve as guide to to prepare program outcomes. Now, program outcome तो हमने लिख लिए. Remember, they are the intended learning outcomes of the program, maybe BTech, maybe certificate, maybe MSc, and so on. इसको अचीव करने के लिए जो हमने करिकुलम बनाया, जो हमने सिलेबस बनाया, उसी कोर्स आउटकम बना के they will help us to achieve that. So this will give you an idea of how to do this thing. Now again, this is just a summary of what I have been discussing: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So every learning outcome that we design, please now see, we are suppose you want to start a course, you want to prepare program outcomes, you want to prepare course outcome, how will you do that? So I will illustrate how this can be done. Now, design of learning outcomes, this is done by statements. Statements are expressions of what we wanted. Outcomes are specified in terms of statements. Statements are that describe what students are expected to know and be able to do on completion of the educational activity, maybe lecture, maybe say seminar, maybe course, and so on. Outcomes include range of skills. Now, statements are, please now see here, the statement that we write as outcome will be verifiable. That means whether it can be implemented or not. We prepare course outcomes at the program level and at the course level, as I mentioned here. Now, what is to be kept in mind? Writing learning outcome should include audience, student. कौन सा स्टूडेंट है? फर्स्ट ईयर है, सेकंड ईयर है, डिप्लोमा है, एमएससी है, पीएचडी है, आल्सो परफॉर्मेंस। हम उससे क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं? बट लर्नर्स विल बी एबल टू डू आफ्टर इंस्ट्रक्शन। जब वो condition include the condition under which learner should demonstrate this skill. Suppose अगर हमें उसके देखना है कि थिंकिंग स्किल उसमें कितना डेवलप हुआ है, हमें बताना पड़ेगा एनवायरनमेंट क्या है, किसमें दिखाना है और कितना दिखाना है. See, success criteria, what defines accepted performance. So writing learning outcomes require that we as teachers, please appreciate, learning outcome writing preparing requires that we as teachers understand these parameters. Only then I will be able to do it. Now, here I am giving you a course of a general structure of a course outcome statement. Now, most outcomes need to have the following 3-4 elements as. There should be a Bloom verb, action verb. फिर क्या करना क्या है? Object और noun. फिर कैसे ये मतलब क्या मेथड क्या यूज करना है और फिर किस क्राइटेरिया कितनी एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल करना है. I repeat, see the course outcome that we write will consist of 4 elements. Action verb, which is a Bloom verb. Now Bloom verb corresponds to various levels. Then what is to be done? Then what method or tool to be used? And what is the performance level of that? That's the criteria. Keep these 4 components in mind and you will be able to write very nice learning outcomes at the course level. See here, I'll explain to you, it specifies, let us give you example. Determine the root of the given equation by Newton-Raphson method, accurate to second place of decimal. I could have said determine the root of the given equation by Newton-Raphson method. I should have said this is also okay. Nothing wrong with this. But look at this. This says action क्या है? Determine. Bloom verb. Object क्या है? Root of the given equation. ये हमको निकालना है. Condition क्या है? Using Newton-Raphson method. Newton-Raphson method use करो. और फिर किस criteria क्या है? Accurate up to second place of decimal or third place of decimal. So in the same course outcome, we have specified what is to be done, what method to use, what is the accuracy. When the student understands, when the student it comes before the student start thinking. Now please remember, our focus is to enable the student to think more and more, think better and better. So a course outcome may be defined using 1 or 2 Bloom verbs, no more. So you can design course outcome, preferably 1, but if it is not, it's possible many times it will not be, use 2 Bloom verbs. But those Bloom verbs are giving you a clear idea as to what level they are corresponding to. Now, here I give you an example of a bad learning outcome and a good learning outcome. See, let us say we have designed a beam. We just ask the student to design a beam. But does he understand? When you say, ye project kar lena, but does he understand? It's a very poor construction of learning outcome. Now, next stage is using my prescription, design a beam using Microsoft Excel design template. It's a better construction than that. It has a verb, it has a noun, it has a condition. ठीक है, लेकिन इसमें स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है, इसमें कंडीशन के क्राइटेरिया नहीं है कि एक्यूरेसी का कहाँ लाना है. Now I say design a beam using Microsoft Excel design template based on national standards. Now kindly see these things. It says based on national standards. अब इसमें हमने क्या किया? We prompted the student, inspired the student to understand national standards also, जो कि पहले हमने omit कर दिया था. Because course outcome should be such that it tells the student, it enhances the learning of the student, which he can demonstrate. Now, the quality of the learning outcome has improved when I have added the standard, because it prompts the student to learn something by himself or herself also. Self learning, lifelong learning mein hai na? This is very important. So it depends how we design our learning outcomes. Especially, and many times, if we design it properly, they are excellent source of deciding learning, deciding the method of teaching, assessment method, and criteria of using it. Here are some more examples. List and describe architecture and function of different components of microprocessor. This is a knowledge corresponding to knowledge level. Or summarize the salient features of binary tree and heap tree. He can do it only if you understand these things, understanding. Then example, creativity, design an interactive program to print. Yes, I have given you already. Now please see here, the verb, the जो मैंने different colors use किए हुए हैं, they are the Bloom verbs. They are sending the signal what is at what level we are. Here is a course, it is a case study. Case study में course मैंने ये लिया हुआ है, syllabus computer architecture and organizing architecture. The computer science is my area. So here, please see here, I have on the right side, it's just an outline of the syllabus, and on the left side is I have written sample course outcomes. Identify the main types of memory technology. This is knowledge. Bloom taxonomy level 1. Explain Bloom taxonomy level 1. Then compute CO6. Application Bloom taxonomy level 3. Now please see here, I've indicated here to the student that you need to be good in computing, in calculating relevant, you learn relevant mathematics, you learn relevant techniques, and so on. So this, my dear friends, I would suggest you make a team of 2-3 persons who is teaching the similar course or same course, and then make course outcomes 4 or 5, depending upon the number of credits. It could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 8 also. It goes with the number of credits. That means the number of credits means the content of the syllabus, if it is syllabus and so on. Now, there is no hard and fast rule. Don't expect anybody to give you a rule. It involves one's own understanding, be able to justify, be able to explain why it is so. And then remember, later on we'll see that this is supported by the assignment that you give. Similarly, here is another example where I have taken knowledge, evaluation, creation, etc. You can prepare it on these lines. Now, well-written and complete outcome statement will usually define the following elements. Please keep this in mind. Who will change? What we who for whom? Student will learn it. When I say change, their learning will go higher up. Their learning will change. What will change? Their knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior. When the time frame within you hope to see the change, मतलब कि 1 साल में, 6 महीने में, ये सब चीजें आपको एक्सपीरियंस यूज करनी है. ये किसी बुक में नहीं मिलेंगी. These are only the guidelines. How will they change? That means assessment method. How the change will be measured? This will be assessment method. So in a course outcomes indicates the teaching methodology, indicates the assessment methodology, indicates the level of and type of content. Learning outcomes of project. I just give you an example and keep this in mind. We have seen there is a lack of understanding of learning outcomes of the labs and projects. And for professional courses, these are integral part. So here, just have a look on this. I will not go too much into this. For example, learning outcome of major project, 6 to 8 months, because it is here that he is able to learn most of the learning as regards cognitive domain, knowledge domain, as regards the affective domain. Now, depending on the type of project, whether it's equipment based, whether it's mathematical based, whether it's theoretical based, he will learn about time management, he will learn about resource acquisition, he will learn about creating new things, he will learn about how these are documented, he will have develop critical thinking and so on. ये मैंने इसलिए आपको ये देख रहा हूँ, otherwise it can take a lot of time, but I'm giving you this thing. Kindly familiarize yourself with the learning outcomes of the major projects, because major projects, when it comes the mapping, which will be done in some of the course session, they become a very important. So another thing, course learning outcomes are adjustable. कोई unique नहीं है. 5 plus 5 equal to 10? No. 5 plus 5 can be 12, can be 13. 5 plus 5 can be 6, can be 7. So they are adjustable. Now, as Professor Meenakshi was mentioning, you have to decide as this thing. Now, this means our understanding as faculty members of outcome-based education and its principles and its application, we need to be well aware of that. So while you will create learning outcome as best as you can with the curriculum, course content, and student learning in mind, unintended learning outcomes do arise during progress of a course over a program time. That means when you are teaching, you will come across, oh, this was to be done. This has to be done. This has not been done. So it doesn't matter. So then what you can do, you can adjust them. Similar learning outcomes are not fixed and should evolve as the course evolves and as students engage in their learning experiences. Now, here is a quick summary of what we have discussed. And this structure should enable you to write these things yourself. Though you will need some experience, it's okay. But after 1 or 2 practices, you will master these, how to do these things. And that will go a long way in training your students. Then next question is how to write the program learning outcomes. See, program, we know that courses, program consists of large number of courses. You have prepared the course outcomes. Now, program outcomes, these can also be prepared by maybe the department, maybe by the accrediting agency, by the institution, and so on. See, at present, NBA has learning outcomes for engineering programs and diploma programs, program outcomes, and those have been the BTech engineering program have been prepared by Washington Accord people, and diploma has been prepared on the same line by NBA. Now again, see here, Bloom taxonomy plays a role here. Program learning outcome are also written using Bloom action verbs. The rules for writing learning outcome program are the same as those for writing learning outcome for course or module, but encompass the experience and learning of the complete program. Now, please see here. This is very important. They are integrated. Some of integrated learning of all the courses. It could be certificate, it could be diploma, it could be degree, it could be master, it could be PhD even. The general guidance is that for the graduate program, 10 to 12 learn out there. But there is a basic rule, basic principles here. ऐसे नहीं लिखते हैं, वो कैसे? Now, see, look at these. These are the graduate attributes, and we prepare learning outcomes from them. Here, right? Now, just have a look on them. These are the graduate attributes, 12 for a BTech program. 5 are for discipline. 2 are for society and environment. 4 are for individual, and 5 is a general one. So when I prepare the program outcomes and the graduate attributes, because program outcomes are extension of the program graduate attributes, then we need to take into account not only the discipline, but also the individual learning, human learning, and also he is living in the society. Complete program outcome that we design should be such that they not only enhance the student knowledge, they should also enhance the student personal attributes like affective domain, they should, and societal concerns, they should also enhance his as a human being. अब देखो ये जो ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट एनडीए ने दिए हुए हैं, इसमें ये सारी चीजें बिल्ट इन है. Environment and society and sustainability. Engineers should be aware of these things. Similarly, why not a law student be aware of this? That means when you prepare the learning program outcomes for a law program, you will take into consideration. Now the thumb rule is, while preparing the program outcome, look at the discipline, look at the individual development, affective domain, and look at what is concerned with the psychomotor domain. The program outcomes, depending upon this, should incorporate all these. Now, the Bloom taxonomy works for writing program outcomes are same. Now, PO indicates student learning at the end or completion of the program. Graduate attributes form the basis for defining the program outcome, and Bloom taxonomy enabled to express them via statements. Please appreciate this. Graduate attributes which I have written, they are the basis of defining this. Now, when I prepare a statement for a program outcome, how do I do that? I take the help of Bloom taxonomy. Action verbs are used for intended program outcome, which the student has to prove and demonstrate the program completion. Action verbs occurring in COs, course outcome, and action verbs occurring in POs help to establish links between them. Now, please see here. जब मैपिंग करेंगे, हम लोग मैपिंग आज डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे हैं. जब मैपिंग करेंगे, जब रिलेशनशिप देखेंगे, लिंकिंग देखेंगे, तो कैसे पता लगेगा? तो एक हिंट मिलता है कि जो वर्ब्स आप सीओज में यूज कर रहे हो, उसी तरह के वर्ब आप पीओज में यूज करिए. दिस सिग्निफाइज कि वो पीओज हैं, वो जो सीओज हैं, दे आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग ए लॉट इन अचीविंग दोज पर्टिकुलर पीओज. So POs also give indication as to the level of skills with which a student to imbibe and demonstrate at the end of the program. If we want to emphasize higher level thinking skills, try to use action verbs, analyze, evaluate, and create levels. Please appreciate this. अगर स्टूडेंट में हायर लेवल थिंकिंग स्किल डालने हैं तो एनालाइज, एवेल्युएट और क्रिएट वर्ब्स यूज करिए, और use action verbs of psychomotor affective domain to imbibe other attributes, lab skills, attitude and behavior. अब देखिए, बच्चे लैब में काम करते हैं, उनको खुद करना पड़ता है. उनको एज ए टीम भी काम करते हैं, वहाँ पर गलतियां भी करते हैं, उन गलतियों को रिपेयर भी करते हैं. Then use action verbs from these domains. So this will give you a idea of how to design these things. Now here I have again illustrated the same thing. Graduate attributes are further expressed as outcomes. Program learning outcomes as written using Bloom action verbs, ये मैंने कलर में डाले हुए हैं. जैसे है ना, इंजीनियरिंग नॉलेज में एप्लीकेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है, प्रॉब्लम एनालिसिस में आइडेंटिफिकेशन और फार्मूलेशन इंपॉर्टेंट, यहाँ ये दो वर्ब आए हुए हैं. कंडक्ट इन्वेस्टिगेशन में यूज रिसर्च मेथड, डिजाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट डिजाइन है, कॉम्प्लेक्स इंजीनियरिंग प्रॉब्लम्स है. आप एक और नोट करेंगे, those teachers who are teaching BTech, that in every in the discipline program outcome complex word occurs. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप देखें हर एक में कॉम्प्लेक्स वर्ड आ रहा है. व्हाट डज ए कॉम्प्लेक्स वर्ड मीन्स? प्लीज दिस विल लीव इट लेटर ऑन. नाउ program outcome modern tool uses here: create, select and apply, engineer society apply, understand and demonstrate, apply and commit. These are the verbs which are specifically written in the program outcomes designed by Washington Accord, adopted by NBA, and we are practicing this. Now, please here, now I just want to quickly give you, for example, a program outcome for MBA program. What is important here? Lab may not be important, or the computer lab is there, but different context. So here I have designed these 10 using Bloom words. This is MTech. MTech is a higher level. Now, MTech program, what do we expect from MTech student compared to a BTech student? MTech students are expected analysts, higher level problem solvers, team leaders, knowledge creators, researchers, and specialists. So the curriculum for MTech level must be such that these attributes and competencies are imbibed in them. That means the curriculum of these program will be different. At a higher level, there most of the 3 levels will be used. Similarly, I can design generic program outcome. That means he shows a creativity, critical thinking skill, higher level of communication, and handling more difficult problems. I can design program outcome of MTech program. Then for a PhD program, he is research critical thinking, research critical thinking. So I must write my course out program outcome which address these things. Now, please here, if I specify my program outcome beforehand, remember, these are intended outcome, my curriculum has to be based on this. My curriculum has to be such that it achieves these things. Similarly, I can write the program outcome for the law graduates. I can write the program for the, MS Science, whatever it is there, generic graduate attributes, arts and entertaining programs. So I can know what is to be done here. So what I want to see, appreciate here is that now see at this slide. I have designed program outcomes and course outcomes using Bloom taxonomy. Why I have done it? Because I want to see that in the institution, the vision of the institution and mission of the institution are achieved. Now, program objectives were designed by me. So, program outcomes, program educational objectives, mission and vision are the intended elements, intended what administration, what faculty wants it. Based on this, we design our curriculum. Curriculum will have syllabus, curriculum will have extracurricular activities, and co-curricular activities. Now, please here, I repeat, the institution and the faculty came together They design the vision, mission, what kind of program objective they want for a particular program, and what kind of program outcomes they want. I've just given you very quick. I understand because of time of shortage. I want my students to have this kind of program outcomes achieved. Good. If you want it, design the curriculum like that. Provide those facilities, provide those environment, provide those resources so that what were your intended outcomes, the student is to demonstrate, is able to demonstrate. That means my curriculum is designed. Now in curriculum we have a syllabus. I design course outcomes for each syllabus because course will have a syllabus. Syllabus will have many subjects. I design course outcome for each subject. These are the user defined to achieve the intended elements. अब ये तो नहीं है कि मैं प्रोग्राम आउटकम में तो ये कहूँ कि माय स्टूडेंट आई विल इम्बाइब द क्रिएटिविटी स्किल, आई विल इम्बाइब द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल इन द स्टूडेंट, एंड व्हेन आई प्रिपेयर माय सिलेबस इट्स एन एलिमेंट्री सिलेबस. Now how do we know that you are able to do those things or you are able to achieve those things which you have mentioned in your program outcomes, POs? So COs are written like that. Now COs, how I know that COs are doing that thing? Then I look at the questions, look at the assignments, look at the presentation, look at the tests, look at instructional methods. So assessment techniques of what you have claimed in the course outcomes are assessed by, maybe assessed by you or by external agency. Now, course outcome may be academic or maybe non-academic. Non-academic mean, for example, जैसे players हैं, उसकी performance है, या psychomotor है, उसकी performance, use of the equipment, we can, it's again a matter of decision what we call academic, non-academic. So let us say course outcome will have all those essentials. And I have judged them with the help of the traditional methods of question, assignment, but my assessment methods are relevant to what I'm assessing it. So once I've assessed the course outcomes, then they help to achieve the program outcomes. And program outcomes, when mapped to POs, help to achieve PEOs and mission and vision. But please here, the design of the curriculum was top down, starting from vision, mission, PEOs and POs, design of the curriculum. But implementing the curriculum starts from bottom up. I design the syllabus. I design what are the other extracurricular activity, what are the activities. Then I assess them. So we say the design of the curriculum is top down, keeping in view vision, mission, etc. And implementation of curriculum is bottom up, wherein we are trying to fulfill what we had decided to achieve. जैसे हमने, for example, we decided our students should be very good team players. This is what we had decided. Now, if I say very good team player, that means my project should be such where this attribute is given importance. Okay. Now, then what is the outcome of that project? Now, how do I assess कि जो आपने सोचा था वो ऐसा हो गया है? I know that. I will be able to assess it from here. So the process of realizing the vision, mission, and design of the curriculum are very closely related. Now, we say design and implementation process. Design is backward and achieve is forward. This is just a terminology because this is what I mentioned here. Then this is just again a summary of OBE framework for design and attainment of learning outcomes. In fact, I have given these in details. Beyond mission, PEOs, program outcomes, they help to design the syllabus. Program outcomes. So graduate attributes and syllabus helps to achieve the course outcomes. Syllabus designed with the help of program outcomes. Syllabus via course outcome help to achieve the program outcomes. Now, this is again a summary of what I have been highlighting and discussing it. And that's what I wanted to share it with you. So Bloom taxonomy, design of course outcome, program outcome, and their relationship. This is what I had thought of and how we implement that. Now, let us take up the questions. Questions, please. Dear participant, questions?
Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, I want to know, while we are framing the COs, then is it possible that we can have two Bloom taxonomy work in the same CO?
Yes, you can have that. You can have that. But
हाँ जी, yes sir.
ना ठीक है, आप ले सकते हो. देखिए, इश्यू सिंपल है. अगर उससे आप सेंटेंस बना रहे हो, कर सकते हो, तो उसमें कोई हर्ज नहीं है. कोई ऐसा रूल नहीं है. आपको एक ही यूज करना है, इतने यूज करने हैं. हम लोग ज्यादा इसलिए यूज नहीं करते कि उसको फिर इम्प्लीमेंट करने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से उसमें असाइनमेंट नहीं बन पाएंगे. हाँ जी.
Sometimes the topic is such that like we are discussing the first of all the fundamental, then we are going towards the application part also.
Very
And we
right.
want that topic to be covered in one CO only. In that case,
Yes.
so we can go for like understanding the basics of the particular technique and then to apply the technique in the industry and something like that.
You can do that. लेकिन इसमें ना कुछ एक चीज है, सिर्फ लिखना ना, सिर्फ you understand this and this.
Understand नहीं आएगा, obviously illustrate or something
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
Yes,
ठीक.
yes, yes.
Thumb rule ये है कि it should be measurable.
Yes, sir.
है ना? Measurable तब होगा जिसको हम understand कर पाएंगे, जिसको मतलब हम लोग आपस में समझ पाएंगे.
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी.
So, sir, in that case, sometimes it happens like कि हम कोई advanced technique पढ़ रहे हैं, तो obviously we will first of all brief about the basics or fundamental of that technique. Only then we will go towards the applied part. तो अगर हम ऐसे CO को direct application में ले जाते हैं कि apply the particular techniques in the manufacturing process, something like that, तो उसमें ये हम understood मान लेते हैं कि हमने basic तो बताया ही होगा, हम directly application पे आ गए हैं.
नहीं, आपने वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि उसने वो पहले लर्न कर लिया होगा.
In the previous course or in this course, we are moving till the application part.
Right, बिल्कुल ठीक है कि आपने पहले वो बच्चे ने उतना सीख लिया, नाउ ही इज इन एप्लीकेशन. बिल्कुल ठीक है.